Forest gardens are kind of a conglomeration of a diversity of plants, ranging from kind of a climax species such as an ulu tree or an avocado tree or a mango tree. You can just plant one tree in your yard. Kind of dig a hole, plant one tree, and you need a footprint. A 20 by 20, 30 by 30 foot footprint for that tree to grow into. And what a food forest does is it takes a more holistic approach to that environment, not just putting one tree in one spot, and you have grass surrounding it, and you have one tree, and you have to wait 4 to 5 years to get fruit. Well, in a food forest system, you plan out a succession of a diversity of plants, of ground covers, of nitrogen fixers that are going to fill different niches within that square footage. And what you're doing is you're creating a system that's kind of creating like a partnership, so to speak. And plants grow better together. They do better with friends. Different plants have root systems that reach deep into the ground, like your comfreys, kind of pull nutrients from deeper in the ground, and then they have a lot of leaf litter that breaks off into the top layers of the soil. And as it does that, it's kind of like a recycle system. It's like an on-site recycle bin where you're creating food for the bacteria, food for the microbes, food for the worms, and that is going to help foster relationships with other edible species, other edible ground covers that are not just going to be around for one season, but they're going to be around for multiple seasons. With food forest systems, it's like it takes a little bit more planning, but within that planning, that diversity, you're also thinking about different pollinator species. Right now at the farm, we have some cilantro, and it's kind of gone a little past where it's harvestable for cooking and whatnot, but it's so full of flowers, and the bees are just so grateful for it, and they're just on it every day. So right now it's quick to grow crop. It might be a good filler for those transition months. Cilantro is not a perennial species, but it reseeds really easy. Another good one that the bees might like right now is buckwheat. It's a really good quick cover crop. Probably a different flavor of honey than a lot of the other varieties out there, but that's a good quick feeder that you could incorporate for the honeybees. Yeah, I think with food forest systems, the idea behind it can be multifaceted. You're growing these plants that can easily be propagated and shared with your friends, shared with your neighbors. And the idea is to create a system where it's not so labor intensive. Instead of having bare soil, you're covering it with leaf matter, you're covering it with mulch. That in turn reduces the weed pressure, and that in turn reduces your need to be constantly out there in the wet season pulling out weeds. So it takes a little bit more energy up front to think through how you're going to manage it, and it does need continual maintenance. But over time you can establish these systems, and as the shade from your bigger shrubs kind of starts to take over, then you'll have a transition where you might not have some of your perennial vegetables be as abundant. They'll kind of transition and phase out, and then you might have a little more shade tolerant understory, a little more shade tolerant species that are kind of covering the ground. And that's the idea, is to be able to create a productive system over time, so that right away, within the first month or two, you can start harvesting and get a product, and then over time, your next layers fill in. And papayas are also a really great, easy to go fruit, and you get 5 or 6 papayas, and that's more than one family needs. And then you can take that to your neighbor and say, hey, I got some papayas, what about those avocados? It does take some energy over time, but once you get those climax species starting to fill in, then you're rocking with a very productive fruit tree that has a nutrient-dense soil around it. You do want to analyze your soil. I do suggest getting soil samples. and facilitating the different deficiencies. There's a variety of different deficiencies and excesses of nutrients throughout the island. So having a baseline of that kind of gives you a good starting point, and then just continuously adding organic matter and living root systems in the ground. Worm castings, compost. Over time, that really builds up a good biology in your soil, and that's really what's breaking down all that organic matter. And that biology, once you get it kind of inoculated and flowing, then it's going to have positive results that can continue down the road.
Same principle, so we're all interconnected, so you can't not be, even if you wanted to. So Paul Stamets and the whole mushroom mycology thing, all the root systems are pretty much connected in the forest. They have the trees grow. Tree A, on the far left corner needs some water. Tree B, a little bit further away. Okay, you need water, I got access to water. Okay, you need this, I got access. So basically, it's sharing resources, and that's a great principle of indigenous cultures, Hawaiian culture. It's that all day long. You're getting away from commodification of everything, because some things you can't put a price tag on. So you're my neighbor, and there's a fire, there's a hurricane, or whatever. Oh, you're going to charge me to have me stand on your roof when it floods. It doesn't work that way. So that's one of the beautiful things about getting together as communities. A lot of information and practices and sharing that exists beyond words, beyond money, beyond anything. And that's why it's so beautiful to be here with you all today. It's another reminder that I came to get a plant, but I got this information and I made a new best friend and we're connected forever. So it's like, that's a lot more valuable than buying a plant for $2 or buying something from the store that's on sale. So that's one of the things that people have forgotten because of our society's run on numbers, et cetera. And communities always, that's where the solutions come. So during COVID, how many people were helped out with community? There's a fire, there's a hurricane, there's a flood. Community's going to be there before you call 911 or whoever else. It's like they're your neighbors, they're your people. So that's what's so beautiful about Hawaii. It's like people look after each other because we are on an island, and it might take a long time for help to come, if it ever comes. Right. So basically, the solution or the answer to that, it's called Buddhist economics, basically, and that's where you take everything into account. Not just numbers, but it's like relationships and everything else. So that is invaluable. It's always been that way, but it's just a reminder now. People like Deepak Chopra talking about it, how it interacts with our health. Like our health depends upon how stressed we are, how comfortable we feel. So if you've got great people around you, then you're not so stressed. If there's like a food shortage, right? But if there's like the ships aren't coming in, and we've got enough to share, and then other people that have other specialties have their skills of building infrastructure, catching water, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the people. So and we're all interconnected. So it's always the same. Yeah, and that's why it's great to get together and have that reminder. It's like, we've seen each other in the community for years, and it's like, oh, I forgot, I didn't know that you had this much deep information or whatever. Post-COVID, not being together as much as we would or could be, it's like now it's that reminder of how valuable, it is to spend time with people and encourage these relationships and allow these things to grow.
I think something that, at least American culture is so wrapped up on is our independence and freedom and independence. And I think that we lose what Kat was talking about, that we're so interconnected, whether we're conscious of it or not, we just are. And if we bring consciousness to it, then we get to blossom under it and we thrive when we do. And honeybees are a super organism, so they orient differently than we do a lot of times. And it's just because we've forgotten this piece about being conscious about how we are so independent. Often you'll hear people say, yeah, I'll meet you halfway, Honeybees don't do that. They go all the way. That's why they'll give up their life. That's why they'll sting you, because the only reason why they're stinging is not to save their life. They're always doing that to protect the hive. All the decisions are not made by the queen. A lot of times people think it's the queen that rules a hive. It's a conscious being, really, actually. And they're all like cells, part of one being. Just observing how that functions in real time is a beautiful thing. Because they live very much in the present. As we would be probably healthier beings if we could be more present too. So just to sit with bees and observe how they are oriented, they are in the world, is a beautiful thing to observe. How they operate together, and it's by all getting what they can at whatever stage of life that they are at. And as little people, Keiki, we have so much to give to our parents, to our families. There's such gifts that little ones bring to our consciousness. As parents, same thing. As farmers, we have so much to give to our farms. It's wherever we are present in the world, we have to give what we can all the way, all of who we are, because we get all of that right back. And that's expressed so well by my colony of bees.
There's some really good action right here in Haleiwa where there's opportunities to get involved and connect with local farms, connect with the Aina Kokua Hawaii Foundation as a learning farm just down the street. And they offer opportunities almost every weekend to volunteer and connect with the plants and connect with people. I really like what Cap said, where it's not just about buying the plant, but it's about connecting with that person. And then, like today, Cap is just talking about how his mind's blown with all the information he's taken in from people that have just kind of walked into the environment. So that's just really something to think about. And like Katie said, sometimes we're just moving pretty fast and not in the present moment, and taking that extra time to intentionally slow down and plan on getting somewhere early so that you don't feel rushed and you can take that opportunity to talk with the neighbor or talk with the guy crossing the street. It's something that I'm going to strive for with Grow Fruit Hawaii, not only helping people get started with forest garden systems or agroforestry systems, but facilitating a place at our farm so that people can come and we can learn together and we can kind of share that abundance and take those experiences and build those connections and provide the opportunity for people to meet each other. And that's where I hope to find the magic and kind of continue to foster how we grow as a community over food and the Aina. So, thank you.